The man found guilty in a deadly shooting at Madison's Harmony Apartments 2 years ago learns his fate in court. We are live with what took place inside that courtroom.
Clouds, clouds, and more clouds. But when can we expect the sun to return? With all the sports activities the next couple of days, what is the latest forecast? I'll let you know.
And later, the state assembly casting its final votes of the calendar year. But the legislation that didn't pass today's session got the most attention. We welcome you to News 3 Now at 6. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Eric Franke.
And I'm Sarah Carlson. We begin with the sentencing of a man charged in a deadly shooting at the Harmony Apartments on Madison's Far East Side.
It was back on July 13th of 2023. 20-year-old Devon Grant shot and killed just outside the apartment. Almost a month later, one of the suspects in that shooting, Devontae Gafford, was taken into custody in Milwaukee. Fast forward to August of this year when jurors found Gafford guilty of first-degree intentional homicide.
And that leads us to today, where Gafford was sentenced to life in prison. News 3 Now's Tanisha Shaw was inside the courtroom during the sentencing and has more on what happened. Tanisha?
Right now, we know that Devontae Gafford will spend at least 45 years behind bars. Now, this is in connection to the killing of Devon Grant, a 20-year-old that died in Madison in 2023. And earlier today, both of their families filled this courtroom.
Hey, they killed everybody in the room.
An emotional courtroom as families wait for sentencing of 34-year-old Devontae Gafford after a trial and retrial that lasted for years.
I just wish you would have just came and talked to me. And now one of us would be in this predicament we in now. But you chose to do what you thought was best for you. You thought you was the police officer, the judge, and the lawyer. You took matters in your own hands.
We wouldn't be sitting here if the boy in this game would have held him up at gunpoint with some of his kids, okay? We wouldn't be sitting here. That's the point. That's the thing that people don't realize.
On July 13th in 2023, Gafford and 21-year-old Mark Parks Jr. went to Harmony Apartments in Madison after a drug deal turned into a robbery. The pair went looking for those that stole cough syrup from Gafford. You can see in this video Gafford and Parks stepping outside of a vehicle and shooting outside the apartment complex. These shots led to the death of 20-year-old Devon Grant. Officers found roughly 60 casings at the scene.
And he's shooting directly into a building. I think you can remember watching the video in court with us a couple dozen times. But the bullets are constantly hitting the side of this apartment building. It's an apartment building in which no one who can pay market rent for the most part here in Madison is eager to move into.
On Wednesday, Judge Mario White sentenced Gafford to at least 45 years behind bars.
An evil person or just a monster that basically I've been portrayed out to be.
Grant's mother told me that she is happy that Gafford will spend most of his life behind bars. What's your reaction to the sentencing that just came down?
79 to life. I'm grateful, very grateful. Wish they had the death penalty, but hey, he's gonna die in there anyway, so I'm grateful.
Now, the other suspect, Mark Parks Jr., has not gone on trial yet. Reporting in Madison, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
Tanisha, thank you. In other news tonight, a former Beloit teacher accused of sexually assaulting a student was in court today. Andre DeCoke, charged with sexual assault of a student by school staff and child enticement. The judge set his bond at $500,000. DeCoke also cannot have any contact with the victims or their families. The Rock County Sheriff's Office believes there may be more witnesses or victims. Anyone with information about alleged misconduct is asked to call the number on your screen there, 608-757-7911.
Right now, 2 people are in custody after a gun was fired inside of an apartment last night. Officers were sent to Blackton Road just after 10:30 for reports of shots fired. There they found that a bullet had entered an occupied apartment. Several people had to be detained, including 2 people found in a nearby vehicle. 2 handguns were found and taken as evidence. 1 person was arrested for carrying a concealed weapon and obstructing a police officer. Another was arrested for endangering safety by use of a dangerous weapon and obstructing a police officer.
Madison Police Department giving an update on a deadly crash that claimed the life of a man on Monday. According to the department, the Dane County Sheriff's Office reportedly initiated a traffic stop, but the man did not stop. The deputy who initiated that stop didn't pursue. Police say witnesses saw a vehicle speeding before going into a ditch along the median side of South Stoughton Road. And then when leaving the ditch, the vehicle crossed all northbound lanes of traffic before then crashing into a tree shown here. Officers arrived at that frontage road of southbound Highway 51 near Buckeye Road, found that vehicle on fire. The driver, described as a man in his 40s, was pronounced dead at the scene.
The man prosecutors say seriously injured a Madison canine officer during a chase needs a new lawyer. Christopher Bruger appeared in court this morning for what was meant to be an arraignment. However, his lawyer withdrew from the case at Bruger's request over disagreements. Now, a different attorney from the public defender's office will be taking over. Bruger is charged with 13 felony counts and 2 misdemeanors related to the September 27th incident. So turning to weather now, how long will the gloomy weather last? Everyone wants to know. We have Chief Meteorologist Alex Harrington on the patio. Maybe you can tell us a little about that.
And it's misting out here, too, to add to the gloomy feel today with the cloudy conditions. Got a bit of a mist still out here on the First Warn Weather patio. The answer to that question, though, Sarah, when will the gloomy weather end? Well, we got to get through Thursday. We got to get through tomorrow. And by the time we head towards Friday, sunnier conditions will prevail across southern Wisconsin. That's all part of the 3 things that you need to know for the forecast from tonight, going clear on into Thursday, going on into Friday. And my graphics aren't moving out here, but that's okay. We'll let you folks know here that we've got some football games coming up tomorrow. We've got the big tournament at Camp Randall. Conditions are going to be temperatures generally in the 40s to right around 50 degrees. A tiny, tiny chance of a shower. Then as we get into Friday for the other half of the tournament, we'll have temperatures back up around 50 degrees and we'll be in the 50s as we head into the upcoming weekend. Overall dry, minus that tiny chance of a shower as we go into Thursday afternoon, evening as a weak cool front comes through. But coming up in just a little bit when I return, we have Winter Weather Awareness Week that continues the different types of snowstorms that we get. I'm going to cover that and more, and when we can expect the potential for cold enough temperatures for snow. That's coming up in a little while.
Thank you, Alex. In other news, Wisconsin is appealing the federal government's decision to deny disaster relief funding for communities hit by severe storms and flooding back in August. Governor Tony Evers says the state is challenging 2 separate denials from FEMA. The federal government says they denied these requests because they are, quote, not warranted. State officials say the damage total is more than double Wisconsin's threshold for FEMA public assistance, which typically qualifies communities for federal aid. While these grant programs were denied, individual homeowners and renters may still qualify for federal assistance through other programs. And today, the Wisconsin State Assembly cast its last votes of 2025. The Republican-controlled chamber passed legislation, dozens of pieces of legislation.
But as our Ellie LaLiberte reports, today's session ended up with a focus on what didn't pass.
Before heading to the assembly floor, Republicans and Democrats argued over a package of Republican-introduced bills that look to incentivize school districts to consolidate. But Wednesday's controversy ended up being about what wasn't introduced to the floor.
This is inexplicable, and it's inexcusable.
That's the reaction of Assembly Democrats after Republicans struck down their attempt to vote on a bill to extend Medicaid coverage for new moms. This bill would expand health care coverage to 1 year after the baby's birth. Wisconsin is one of just 2 states that has not expanded that coverage.
It has been sitting in the Rules Committee since May 27th.
That's why Minority Leader Greta Neubauer used a petition process to move the bill out of a committee.
When a majority of members signed on to this petition, we would have been able to force a vote on the floor of the Assembly.
But she says Assembly Speaker Robin Vos was made aware of the petition early. Vos blocked the bill by referring it to another committee.
Frankly, Robin Vos's move to prevent us from circulating this petition and his refusal to bring this bill to the floor is pathetic.
The bill has bipartisan support and passed in the Senate nearly unanimously back in April. Now Democrats have to wait 21 days before they can petition again.
And I'm mad about it. It has to sit now another 21 days in Assembly Org before we can even look at bringing it back to the floor again through the petition process. This is inexcusable.
We've reached out to Speaker Vos's office for comment, but have not heard back. However, the Speaker has been openly opposed to this legislation in the past. Reporting at the state capitol, Ellie LaLiberte, News 3 Now.
Also today, a bipartisan bill that would have partly legalized online sports betting through Wisconsin tribal casinos was pulled from the calendar for a vote. There have been some concerns over whether or not efforts to expand online betting need to be a constitutional amendment rather than a bill. Author Representative Tyler August argued there is not a constitutional issue here. However, he did not elaborate on the reason that the legislation was pulled. He added that if this bill was voted on today, it would have passed, but that there is, quote, no rush. Still ahead at 6, time running out to donate to the Goodman Center's Thanksgiving Basket Drive.
After the break, we'll head out live to see which items they still need at this time.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
Well, time is running out to support the Thanksgiving Basket Drive at the Goodman Community Center.
News 3 Now is a proud sponsor of the drive again, and you have a couple of days just till the end of the week to help those in need. Our Jalen Banks joins us live now from the center on how the drive is going. Hi, Jalen.
Sarah and Eric, now we're at about the halfway point of the Goodman Thanksgiving Drive, and we're about 700 or so of these short of our 4,000 goal of turkeys for the different basket drives that we're raising for Thanksgiving families this year. Now, for the last 37 years, the Thanksgiving Basket Drive has become a community staple, drawing in countless volunteers, families, businesses, and organizations, lending a helping hand for families in need. The goal for this year is to supply 4,000 meals to Dane County families. This will help feed 25,000 residents, including 10,000 children this Thanksgiving.
Everybody's falls on hard times. I just think it's that time of the year. I just like to help out anybody that's down and out. That bad luck can come to anybody at any time, and I'd really like to see somebody benefit from this.
On top of the need of turkeys, the center is still in need of cooking oil, broth, gravy, cranberry sauce, and several other canned and boxed items. Now, everything that you see here and beyond, this will start getting packed up come Friday. You'll see countless bags and other items, getting set and ready for the different baskets that'll be handed out to families for Thanksgiving. And if you still want to get involved, fret not. You have until Sunday at 5 p.m. to come to the Goodman and donate either monetarily or with Thanksgiving food items. So still have plenty of time left. Please come on out and help those in need this Thanksgiving. But for now, reporting live from the Goodman Center, Jalen Banks, News 3 Now.
All right, thank you so much, Jalen. Still ahead for us, we could see record spending this holiday season, but you may not get more bang for all of those bucks.
Coming up, what consumers need to know about this year's deals and those sneaky surprises as well.
And could we see a warm-up later in the week? We hope so. Alex is back with the complete forecast and the details after the break.
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
It is so hard to believe Black Friday is a little more than a week away, and the National Retail Federation is forecasting the first $1 trillion holiday season ahead.
But buyer beware, due to tariffs, some tech and toy manufacturers have made changes to trim their costs, and some of those changes may include removing batteries from toys, making them a separate purchase. That's always fun on Christmas morning to open up. Oh, we don't have any batteries, kids. But even changing the packaging is what some of these companies are doing. Purchasing items brought in before tariffs took effect may help consumers save, but retail experts say do your research, especially with tech, to make sure it's worth it.
We've seen quite an increase in people shopping, refurbished versions of models of things that they are interested in order to get that, kind of extra savings. My biggest recommendation to anybody going that route is to just read the fine details.
Meanwhile, online shoppers who find big deals need to note where the item ships from. The de minimis rule had long kept low-value packages entering the U.S. tariff-free, but that rule allowed one shipment of goods per person per day valued at under $800 to enter the U.S., free from duty and import tax. Well, as we have reported several times now, that exemption ended back in August.
We also have a busy week of sports here in Wisconsin, including the state football championship starting tomorrow. And Alex, what's the weather looking like for them?
Yep, first half we'll do 52 for an overall high temperature on Thursday. Generally cloudy skies, a tiny chance of a shower as we go into the afternoon and early evening hours, but most places are going to stay dry and winds overall will be light. Let's break that down here. 10 a.m. 45, 1 p.m. 51, 40 as we get to 4 o'clock, still at 51. And it's that tiny chance of a shower really in the afternoon going into the evening hours. But again, I think most places are going to be dry nonetheless. Maybe just take that umbrella for that brief little sprinkle. Then we've got the Badger football game as we move into Saturday. Temperatures into the lower 40s. Finally, at the end of the game in the upper 30s. So dress warm, but this is, as I always say, what we typically see in November for temperatures. And that Packers forecast up at Lambeau Field, mid to upper 40s, near 50. A bit on the chilly side, but comfortable for November values here. And we'll have partly sunny skies, so bring the green shades then as well for the Packers game. Temperatures for tonight as we wake up into Thursday morning, right around 40 degrees. That's a bit above normal for this time of year. Normal lows are in the upper 20s, 27. So we're going to be just a touch above normal for overnight temperatures as we plan the night and head into Thursday. We'll do 52 Madison. How about 352s? Prairie du Chien to Lone Rock to Madison, 50 up towards Baraboo, and 51 to the south, down towards the Wisconsin-Illinois state line. So that's a bit above normal for this time of year. The clouds are going to stick around tonight. A little bit of a mist, too. I was just out on the patio. I can confirm we have a little mist going on right now. Thursday, still cloudy, and then the weekend, that's when our sun will start to come out and we'll start to enjoy those temperatures again well into the 50s here Saturday and Sunday. Then all indications are as we head out towards Thanksgiving and beyond, temperatures are really going to take a nosedive. We're going to go into a pattern that's likely going to be colder than normal and wetter than normal as well. And hunting forecast for the weekend, winds are going to be out of the south on Saturday as we go into Sunday. Clear to partly cloudy skies. Winds will be coming in out of the north and out of the west as we go into Sunday for the first half of the day, and then coming in more out of the north and out of the northeast, if that interests you in your overall forecast. Well, and we're Wednesday. Common winter storm paths is the focus. We all know about probably that Alberta Clipper. It originates in Alberta, sweeps to the south. As it moves off towards the south and towards the east very quickly, we usually get maybe 1 to 3 inches of the fluffy snow variety. Sometimes it's 3 to 6 depending on how cold temperatures are. And then the other common type is called a panhandle hook, or sometimes a Colorado low. It forms just east of the Rockies, dips into the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, drawing in cold air and then pulling in warm, humid air out ahead of it. That builds a snow band on the northwest side. That classic track is for the low to go right through the southern part of the Chicago suburbs. If that happens, that favors heavy snowfall from southwest to northeast Wisconsin, and sometimes we can get 6, 12 plus inches of snow. It's been quite some time since we've had a weather system like that, and that whole weather system can last upwards of 18 to 36 hours. But these past couple of years, we haven't had those ingredients getting together very well for those classic panhandle hooks, but it's all part of Wisconsin Winter Weather Awareness Week that we continue.
Interesting stuff. Thank you, Alex.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And as part of Wisconsin Winter Weather Awareness Week, the First Warren Weather Team announcing daily winners of a First Warren Weather Team snow shovel.
And the third winner is Tony Muniz from Janesville. Congratulations, Tony. Tune in tonight at 10. You'll hear the latest on Southern Wisconsin winter weather research. Dr. John Martin from the University of Wisconsin-Madison has findings that may have you shivering a little less. Also, Alex's grandma, Eileen Harrington, has a thing or two to say about Southern Wisconsin blizzards today. You do not want to miss what Grandma Harrington has to say.
When Alex talked about the forecast for state football, Darlington's tomorrow at 1, right?
Yep.
And they're not the only team playing. We got another one on Friday, right?
Absolutely. Reedsburg will play in that D3 game. And coming up in sports, we'll talk about how Reedsburg's quarterback and him making a move to the running back position, well, it started a state title run. Next on News 3 Now. At this point, it's not right to call Reedsburg a Cinderella, because if you tried to fit that beaver foot in a glass slipper, it might just smash. They finished the regular season 4th in the Mississippi Valley Conference, receiving a 4 seed in the state tournament, and then they went on to win 4 straight playoff games, punching their ticket to Camp Randall to play in the D3 state title game on Friday, their first appearance in the title game since 2009. And for a team that started the season 4-3, their head coach Calvin Zenz credits their running back, Will McConowicz, for their rebound, who, by the way, had 6 touchdowns in their state semifinal win.
He's just a great kid, a hard worker. I think he makes the kids around him better just by his work ethic. But his combination of speed and size are really good. He's one of the best running backs I've ever been around. He's come a really long ways. Like, it's kind of silly to look at it now and be like, he wasn't our starting running back, going into week 4.
Being named Wisconsin's Mr. Basketball is the highest honor that a high school hooper can hope for. This week's guest on the Wisconsin Huddle won it and shared it with his best friend, current NBA star Sam Hauser. Trevor Anderson, who went out to live on his own dreams playing for the Wisconsin Badgers, says this year's Badger squad is more than solid.
I think the sky's the limit. Really impressed with John Blackwell. That dude's a dude. I hope he gets the love he deserves when it comes draft time. Definitely going to be a fun year in Madtown.
And a very important volleyball game tonight. 10th ranked Wisconsin hosting 11th ranked Purdue, and it will have major NCAA tournament implications.
Look forward to having highlights of that one and more tonight at 10. And we thank you for joining us tonight for News 3 Now at 6. Coming up next is Entertainment Tonight.
And please join us again at News 3 Now at 10 o'clock. And you can always find us streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. We'll see you at 10.